Hello everyone and welcome to another deck video here on OJ Gaming channel. You're with me Joe and I'm bringing you today one of my favorite casual decks. It's called Amazon's Strike Back, and the kind of principles around it are revolving around the card Amazoness Swordswoman. So this is a 4-star monster, and if your opponent attacks it, they take the battle damage. And the idea is that you try and make sure that they one turn kill themselves by using cards that increase the attack power of your opponent's monster and then forcing them to battle. It's a pretty cool deck and concept. People aren't expecting it, certainly the first time. And I really just like throwing it in there as something to use when I'm doing casual duels. So yeah, let's see how this deck operates. So I put in 3 Lava Golem. There was a Lava Golem deck on the channel soon. This is where I use it really. I could put in Kaijus or something in there, but actually Lava Golem fits well, and it has that burn effect to get that life point slightly lower for that like 1-turn counter attack. I've got 1 copy of Amazoness Queen, so you don't bring this out that often, to be honest, but it can actually be really nice because it can prevent your monsters being destroyed. You'll usually bring it out as a result of something like an Amazoness Onslaught, which we'll get to later. So the Princess is one of the key cards in the deck. Basically lets you add any spell or trap that's Amazoness related from the deck to the hand, and it can generally recycle. You can special summon Amazoness monsters too. It's a really cool card, and it's 3-star, which works nicely with the Swordswoman and the field spell. So Spy is also in here because basically it's the quickest way of getting Amazon's cards again, except for Amazoness Cool. It's probably the card that's most likely to go from the deck, but at the minute it's there. Again, it's 3-star. And lastly is Scouts, which is wonderful. It can basically tribute it either player's turn, and it can stop your Amazoness as being targeted or being destroyed by card effects. So really handy to make sure that Swordswoman stays on the field until your opponent's battle phase. So the Village, very important card. Basically, it means that whenever any of your Amazoness monsters are destroyed or by battle or card effect, which is handy, you can special summon more from your deck with levels which are less. So if Swordswoman gets destroyed for whatever reason, you can bring out the Princess, which lets you drag forward one of your spells and traps. If either of them are destroyed, you can bring out Scouts, which then provides that layer of protection against your opponent's card effects. We're also running, as an ode to Tanya from GX, we're running Savage Colosseum, and it also really well fits the theme. And we've got Terraforming in there, so you can kind of pick which field spell you want, given your resources. But you can play, obviously, Swordswoman, you can play Savage Colosseum, and then if your opponent wants to battle, it's going to have to, or if it enters the battle phase, it's having to go for your monster. It kind of fits the theme, as well as inciting violence, which is, I guess, what I'm trying to do here. Reinforcement Army is kind of standard, and Amazoness Cool obviously is 3. It's the main searcher of the deck, and there's a quick play spell for some reason. I'm not quite sure it needed to be. And handily, it means that at any given point, your Swordswoman can go ape on all of the monsters your opponent controls, which is great. Action Magic full turn, I admit, is a bit random, and yeah, it's certainly there for thematic value more than it is for function. I'm sure there are plenty more functional cards that could have been added, but making your opponent attack twice, can win games. The double swing. Profit Extravagance deck doesn't really use the extra deck at all, or at least doesn't need to fit the theme. So that's our main drawer. Amazoness Onslaught, brilliant card. So this basically allows you to just throw an Amazoness from the hand, and it can even be the 6-star Queen to prevent monsters being destroyed by battle. And then you're also able to just banish your opponent's monster, like if it's a threat. And if it's destroyed, then you can bring out an Amazoness from the graveyard. So you can bring out something like Princess, and then you get your Onslaught back. Magic, everyone loves it. 3 Magic Cylinder because it's a counterattack deck, so why not go bold? I'd like it to have been a bit more Amazon-esy, but that's fine. And then Massive Morph, the card we're waiting for, and if you play Duel Links, you'll know this card. So it can double the attack and defense of your opponent's monster. In fact, this whole deck is kind of a bit Duel Linksy because it was the same combo in that game. So you play Lava Golem, you double its attack to 6,000, and you smash in the Swordswoman to inflict damage. Plus, you've got the action magic full turn to double that if needed. And the last 2 are Metaverse, which just is another field spell searcher, and the Amazonet's Willpower, which is a themed Call of the Haunted. But of course, you can search it with Princess, so that's all right. And sometimes in a pinch, you might want to get Swordswoman back. So whatever, when it's destroyed, then you've got the effect of Village, you've got the effect of Onslaught. You know, you've got all sorts of ways. And what I like about this deck is that there's constantly kind of a presence on the field, at least when playing kind of in a more casual format, casual setting. Obviously, it can be easily overpowered. There's a lot of redundant cards in it if you're playing against a competitive deck. But on a casual setting, this is an absolute joy, in my opinion. Extra's not really worth mentioning. Generic 4-star Xyz, Nightmare Unicorn, because we don't actually have a lot of targeted removal of spell and traps. You could side in the Mage, the Amazoness Mage. Yeah, there are a bunch of other Amazoness cards, obviously, which you could side in if you want to do particular things, such as, you know, if you're playing against a spell trap heavy deck, then you might want to throw that in there as well. But other than that, I think that's all for the deck. I hope I get to show you some tools with it on the channel, because there's been really cool ones in the past, and I really like how it operates. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy this deck, and stay tuned for more decks here on OJ Gaming Channel.